Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Sheldon and this is Behind the Enthusiast. Today, the sun is out and that means the perfect time to go check your motorcycle to make sure it is ready for the summer. So, I'm gonna head into the garage, we're gonna take a look at the bike, gonna go over the checklist, which technically, most of this stuff should have been done prior to the winter, basically when you guys were putting the bike away. So if you've missed something, now is the perfect time to review that. So we're gonna go through that list. Doesn't matter what bike you have, brand, doesn't matter. I'll go over everything for you guys. So let's get into it. So we're gonna start with the first thing on the bike, which is checking the fluids. Now, obviously when I say checking the fluids, I don't mean actually going and checking the levels. I mean checking underneath the bike. Now, as you guys can see, there are no oil spots underneath the bike. So if you guys actually did all your maintenance in the fall, before you put the bike away in the winter, you should have all your engine oil done. So obviously if you guys have a Harley-Davidson, you may end up having to change out the oil for the engine, primary, and transmission. If you have, let's say, a Sportster, you're only going to have 2 compartments to be looking up. And if you have a V-Rod, it's all in one. Also, same thing applies for the Street 500 and 750 models. Now, depending on your bike, my Yamaha, obviously, I had the dealership do it because I had my first service that was due. So they've already done mine, so I actually haven't done anything to this bike yet. Brake fluid is another thing that you guys should be checking. Obviously, if you don't need to change it, you don't change it. So for me, that's not something that I actually am doing. However, it is on the checklist. Make sure everything is functioning on the bike. So if you guys are putting your bikes away at the end of the season and you find that the brakes aren't functioning properly, obviously, you should be changing the brake fluid, checking the brake pads, the rotors, that sort of thing. Now, outside of fluids, obviously, depending on the bike, you may only have 1 compartment, you might have 2, or you might have 3. Other than that, fluids, if you've done the oil, like I said, everything should be good. You can also check your air cleaner filter element, simple stuff like that. Obviously, with different bikes, different applications, this cover obviously has to come off. Other bikes, you may have a side cover that needs to come off, right? So, depends on the bike. Now, for this particular model, obviously, the second thing that you guys want to be checking out after you've confirmed, hey, I've already done the oil, that stuff's all good, you want to check the battery. If you guys have been maintaining it over the winter, you've had it plugged into a battery tender, which I have, or if you also have the nifty little battery monitor here, which I have. Obviously, it's blinking at that second level, which is fine. No problems whatsoever. It's not in the yellow or the red. So the battery has been maintained really well. So if you guys have been maintaining it, the battery is going to be good, which means you can also check out all the electronics on the bike. However, just before we do that, we are going to be taking a look at the tire pressure on the bike. So, obviously, I've already checked mine. This is something that I did just before recording. Now, depending on your bike, the details for this information may be located on the swing arm or the frame. Depends on the bike. Now, mine, it's a little bit dark here, unfortunately, but it is right here on the actual belt guard. So, for your bikes, it's going to be a little bit different. I think my Suzuki, my DRZ, actually has the information on the rear fender. So whatever the tire pressure is, double check it. If you guys pump up your tires excessively over the winter, and I don't mean excessively like 20 pounds more, but if it recommends 41, just like the Yamaha, 41 in the rear, 41 in the front, let's say I put 45 pounds in it over the winter just to compensate for the colder weather. You want to double check to make sure that now, when you're actually ready to ride it, the tire pressure is exactly where it should be. So I've already checked these. They're both 41 right now. Well, actually the front is 41 and the rear I put about 41.5 or 42 pounds in it, so it's not too bad. Some people might, you know, like to change that a little bit, but always go by the recommended to start and then adjust as needed. So other than that, fluids were all good. Tire pressures, all good. So there's no leaks. There's nothing funky going on. We've done a walk around of the bike. Everything looks pretty good. So now it is time to turn the bike on. All right, so I'm gonna put the keys in here. The one thing that you guys can double check, obviously, if you have a fork lock, make sure that's off because you want to be able to move the bike around a little bit just to check everything over. So here we are. Turn the bike on. Everything boots up really well. So just go and double check everything. Obviously, it's 5:30 right now. I've actually double checked the clock. So that is one thing you guys should be doing. Go through all your settings. Odometer, 3600. The last trip that I did was 97. And for some reason that one is lower. Not entirely sure why. I must have reset that one. And again, back. So that's the one thing you guys should be doing. Obviously, neutral light. The bike's in neutral. The light's still working, clearly. Unless, of course, when you start it up, the bike decides to jump forward. Then you know it's a false neutral. However, everything else, switches, all that stuff, we can actually check all that stuff right now. Hopefully you guys took care of the gas situation. Usually you're gonna wanna put the fuel stabilizer in that and have a completely full tank, especially for metal tanks, because it will reduce the possibility of condensation inside the tank. So you'll make sure fuel stabilizer, full tank of fuel for the winter. So when in doubt, obviously you can use a specific brand of fuel stabilizer or some sort of product that will help your bike start when you've accidentally, you know, not done some maintenance on it, or preventative maintenance or storage routine or whatever. So don't get into that habit though. Make sure you guys are developing good habits of taking care of your bikes. So this has fuel stabilizer in it, has a Startron in it. I use that in all my bikes right now. Obviously, if you have a Harley-Davidson, you can use the fuel stabilizer from Harley. You can use XP. XP is actually a fuel injector cleaner as well. So is the Startron. I mean, most of the products, they do sound pretty similar, but you know, make sure you're using the appropriate thing for your bikes. I did make a video on that already. Now, in terms of checking everything out, turn signals are on. So I'm just gonna, that blinks, shows it on the dash. There we go. All right, right side is working, cancels, perfect. Now, the other thing you want to check, front brake. So again, front brake, it works. Rear brake, I'm just gonna reach over here. So, rear brake. So everything works. You will want to check to make sure that your headlights are working as well. This one, unfortunately, I do have to start the bike to check it. Just realized that now, totally forgot. But you are gonna wanna check those when the bike is actually on or when the headlight comes on. And the other thing you guys wanna check is the horn. So this is gonna hurt my ears. Anyway, so everything else seems pretty good. Obviously, if you guys wanna check your mirror positioning, you can also do that as well. And the last thing before we start it is to make sure that you haven't done anything weird. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I mean. Because depending on how you guys have the bike stored, you may do something really goofy like this. Yeah. Because of the spacing, I actually had this tied off. So you guys are gonna wanna go around and make sure that you didn't do anything goofy on the bike. Battery tender lead monitor there, that should be tucked back in. Obviously that doesn't really need to be out. Foot pegs. This is something that you guys should be looking for. Anything else, anything goofy. Maybe you guys decided to take the fuel tank off or the seat off so that you can charge the battery. Make sure all that stuff is buttoned back up. If you guys did any maintenance beforehand, like I said, in the beginning, checking for oil spots on the floor, that would be a sign of maybe you forgot to tighten something to the proper specs, you know, anything like that. If you guys are checking your tire pressure, make sure the valve stem caps are back on. And anything else, basically just do a once over of the bike. Make sure that everything is in working order. And then once you're 100% certain everything has been done, then you can start the bike. All right, so everything looks to be completely ready. I've got that foot peg taken care of. Gas is good, oil is good, all the lights work, tire pressure's all set, ready to go. I'm pretty sure my bike is ready to go. So if you guys are in the garage, make sure to prop open the door. You do not want to be inhaling all those exhaust fumes when you first start up the bike, especially if you're gonna be warming it up for a little bit before you take it out. So make sure to prop the door open. I'm using a brick there. Now, here is the moment of truth. Let's see if I actually did everything correctly. We're gonna turn the bike on right now. Yep, keys ready to go. Switch ready to go there. Now, let's see. Moment of truth. Wow, okay, there we go. Started up, no problem whatsoever. That is great. Smells a little stinky, but that's all right. Monitoring system, obviously that's working. I'm gonna put that away now. All right, so looks like the Yamaha is ready to rock. Headlight, we're gonna check that quickly here. Okay, so high beam works. So we are all good, ready to go. Well guys, it looks like I did everything that I was supposed to do on my bike. Hopefully you guys have the same luck. Hopefully everything is ready to go. I'm gonna take this sweet ride around the corner. I'm gonna check all the brakes, make sure everything is functioning properly, do progressive brake pressure as you're going up through the speeds. Make sure everything is functioning properly. If there's anything that's weird, you don't want to be going on a long ride. Go around the block first, make sure everything's good. Make sure you don't get some, I don't know, funky engine code or anything like that. Make sure everything's functioning properly. If it is, you're good to go. You can go on a long ride, check in with family or friends, see if anybody's gonna join you or not. For me, I'm probably gonna go out on my own. Just gonna cruise, get rid of all this old gas as well. I'm gonna try to run that as low as possible, so on my way home, I fill up with a fresh tank of fuel. So, if you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button so I know that it's working. If you guys have any comments or questions, or if you think I missed something, leave that down below. So, that's it for me in this one. Be sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss out on future content on the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the road.